What up, everybody, and welcome back to On the Break, a basketball podcast brought to you by Sensibly Loud Media. This is the trade deadline edition live. Me, Josh, Kyle, boys, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Good to see you.
Good to be back.
What's up, guys? Do we have people looking at us now?
People are looking at us. They're watching us live.
People are looking at us. That's why Kyle took up that the sexy pose.
Yeah. I have to go with the Titanic pose for all the listeners.
Everybody can see why I'm always looking forward to this podcast every week.
It's about time. We've been talking about it forever, right?
We have. I legitimately don't have anywhere to sit in here, so this is what I'm going with. But I'm actually quite comfortable. Glad you're able to meet us, Josh. I know you're running a little late from work because you think it's important to provide for your family, evidently, over this podcast, which is skewed.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, not ideal. It's trade deadline day. Today's been a hell of a ride, I'll tell you.
Dude, my phone did not stop blowing up today. It's not because I have any friends. No one texted me. It was just all trade deadline news.
I was blowing up Kyle's chat at work. When I wouldn't get replies back like every 5 seconds, I was like, where is he?
It's like, I actually have shit to do.
Has Kyle been traded to the outfielder? What's going on here?
Oh, man.
I went through 2 phone batteries today at work, walking around tweeting and stuff out of all the accounts and texting you guys and just generally keeping an eye on all the Woj bombs and everything that was going on. It was a hell of a day in the trade market.
Dude, yeah, you were busy on Twitter. You're apparently a huge Luke Walton fan.
Dude, all these people have been trying to tell me today that Luke Walton is the problem. And once they get him out of there, they're going to be good. And the hell of it is, I get on Twitter later on after I have all these arguments with people where I'm about to throw my phone through a wall. And the first post I see on my feed is LeVar Ball sitting there talking about how Luke Walton's the problem.
No, the problem is LeBron's got 14 dudes on the fucking trade block, and they're all like, fuck this guy, and there's no chemistry.
Right, exactly.
To be fair, Luke Walton is a problem. He's not the problem, but he's a problem there.
Dude, he is the least of their problems.
He's the least of their problems. And this is what I told Justin earlier. How many coaches make a difference in the NBA? 4 or 5?
Yeah, I saw that text. I really do think that coaches make a big difference, but how many coaches take a team from being good to elite? Yeah, like 4 or 5. But right. I do think that you have to have a system that fits your skills. Yeah,
like the coach for the Bucks, he was down in Atlanta last year. They won like 24, 25 games, but he fits perfectly on the Bucks. And look how well they're doing under his philosophy.
Yeah, exactly.
Budenholzer. Yeah, Budenholzer.
Thank you.
Yep, I like him a lot, man. And I mean, they're doing hell of a good things with the Bucks in general. I mean, Giannis put up 46 points. They had 50 in a quarter last night.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
That's the same team that was playing for Jason Kidd last year, So, and I wouldn't even say that Budenholzer's probably not. I wouldn't say that he's a top 5 coach in the league or a top 8 coach in the league. It's just his system, right? And
right. The system thing, and then he's able to open it up for those guys. I mean, we've watched Thibodeau smother people to death for the last 2 years. In Minnesota, it's the same type of thing.
Yeah, and Thibodeau is equally bad at being an analyst as he is a coach.
Is he an analyst now?
Yeah.
Well, he's attempting to be. I think that's going to be a short stint.
Oh, I'll be listening, baby.
Josh, it is brutal.
Is it?
Let's get him fired from this job too.
Yeah, he will get himself fired out of this one in 15 seconds. He was awful. He has as much personality on the air as he does on the court, which is not much. He just looks like he's about to have a coronary no matter what happens.
Is he just a rager still? Does he just look like he's about to die just because he's so pissed off?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have a heart attack at any given moment.
Yes, that's what I like to see.
The other thing that I really don't get about him is how he always manages to make his hair look wet. It's really upsetting.
There's not that much of it, but it's like each strand is just soaked.
Yeah, I guess you're sweating because he's so high strung that,
That's that mob grease, dude. That's like the grease that they're importing from China to give to Burger King, and that's how he makes his racket in the mob. He's just slicking it in his hair. It's something weird like that.
He does have that diabetic mob leader kind of vibe. I know, Justin, you wanted to start with Carmelo. That was an interesting trade. I mean, that's dating back already. I mean, it feels like it was yesterday, but it was over 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to waive him, though? I don't really see them keep.
They already did. Yeah, they're going to.
right? Because, I mean, look at what they made the move for Otto Porter. So you look at Chicago, I mean, compared to the other teams that are going to be in that bottom 5 or 6, their young core, maybe along with Phoenix, is pretty solid, though. I mean, you got Levine, Wendell Carter. You got Otto Porter now, Chris Dunn. You're going to get a good draft pick this year. I think they're actually going to put something together there.
My favorite thing to see in trades is when it says cash considerations, because you know that Houston was like, we'll pay you millions of dollars. Just take this dude off of our hands, please.
Please take this cancer.
I mean, if we're being honest, until this trade happened, I didn't even know he was still there. I'd forgotten they just stashed him away.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, has he been showing up to the games even?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think it's just been like a, DMP CD kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
DMP
that
sucks.
Do you think Melo's out of the league now after this year?
No. Dude, I'm afraid that the Lakers are going to sign him.
You're afraid? I'm excited that they're going to sign him.
I know you're a Boston fan.
Yeah, but we'll go into the Lakers thing here in a few minutes. But
for sure,
dude, given their shenanigans, this guy Russ is honestly becoming my favorite player because he's about basketball. And and as much as I love LeBron's game, I'm getting tired of just the fucking charades. And it's even more of a microscope because he's in LA now, right? Dude. And it's unbearable.
Strong agree.
Him and Giannis are about basketball, but LeBron's never been like this before, right? I'm pretty sure that he's just drinking every night and tweeting out stuff just because he can't stand that he's going to have to go to practice and practice with those guys the next day. He's just getting plastered every night.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think there's a strong chance that of the other 14 players on that roster, 11 or 12 are off that team by next year.
I would agree with that. That team is a mess. And they just absolutely torpedoed their morale by sitting there saying that every single person other than LeBron is up for trade.
They did.
I mean, if you're not going to pull the trigger on it, it's going to be just uncomfortable. It's just going to be even more of a shit show after the fact. LeVar's back on the scene.
What's the deal with that?
PR nightmare.
He came out when Lonzo was on the block, and then I haven't heard anything from him from the moment the trade deadline stopped. It's like they put him back in the trunk, LeBron's goons put him back in the trunk or something. I don't know, but
almost certainly.
Yeah,
man. We'll get to the Lakers here in a couple minutes. I want to go through these trades in order. After that, go ahead.
At risk of being kicked off the show by my producer, I have some stuff to say about the Celtics for sure too.
All right, I can't wait. Yeah. So we moved on to the next trade, which was a huge trade for the Mavericks. It was a 7-player trade. We had Dallas getting Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., Courtney Lee, and Trey Burke. We actually already talked about this on the last show a little bit, but I do want to talk to you guys about, kind of how it settles out. The Knicks received DeAndre Jordan, Dennis Smith Jr., Wesley Matthews, and 2 future firsts. They're obviously not successive. What do you guys think about this as the dust has settled?
Now that I've had some time to sit on it, because I was okay with it last week, I'm happy about it now. The more I study Kristaps and realize he actually is he's a great rim protector. He's a better defender than I thought, better athlete. As long as he's healthy, I really love what we're building for the future. Tim Hardaway's on a bad contract, but maybe we can get him to play for less money because he's good. He's a good third or fourth scoring option. And you could see last night, it was his first game. He's a little nervous. Field goal percentage wasn't great, but he made some really good plays. And he had easy looks because Luka was going to find him. He didn't have to create shots like he did in New York. So, I'm okay with the picks now. Now that I see it and I'm looking at it on paper, I think that's a huge win for Dallas.
Dallas wasn't the winner of this draft or of this trade deadline, but they were damn close.
Second or third?
I would put them in second. Kristaps is 23. Luka Doncic is 19. These two could be the two most dominant players, dominant duo in the 2020s.
10 years.
Yeah. In the 2020s, they could be the number 1 and number 2 duo.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree with that too. And I can't even imagine, like I said, we talked about this a little bit last week, but I can't even imagine who Dallas is going to go out and swing for the fences in free agency this year. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard like Vucevic. I hate to even say this, but that's a lot of white guys on a team, and that just
a lot of white guys on a team.
But I still feel like
you can't run. You got to play. You got to play grit and grind.
Yeah, exactly.
Real scrappy team.
Something that
a high basketball IQ.
Something that I love that I think Dallas could do is go out and get like Kemba, something like that. They could do that, and that would be wild. That
So
would
let's-
definitely be wild.
Let's
That's
just
gonna come up
speculate
in
on
the
that then.
That's going to come up in the next few trades here for sure, because that's a big deal. They cleared up a lot of cap space with the Harrison Bond trade.
Okay, yeah, we'll go in order. We'll get to that because I have some thoughts there.
Yeah.
Uh,
But the 2 first-round picks at the end of the day don't really bother me because of their next 4 years of first-round picks. They don't own 3 of them. So it doesn't really matter at this point. They've already kind of gone all in. But we'll get to the rest of that kind of trade in a few minutes. But
and you get Trey Burke, who, I mean, honestly, if you miss on a guard, he's probably not going to be that much better than Trey Burke anyways.
No.
So, I mean, it's not a big deal. 2023 is the second first-round pick. I think the Mavs should be competing at that point.
strong agree.
Yeah. Dallas won't be in the lottery for the next 10 years.
No.
I think they're going to playoffs next year, and I think they'll stay there.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, barring injury, I think they're at least a lower seed playoff team.
Yeah, for sure.
Or higher seed. Yeah.
All right. Next, we've got the Bulls and Thunder trade. Josh, you want to start us talking about this one?
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say here. We got to protect the 2020 second round pick for the Thunder. That's not a big deal. And then we paid somebody to take Cabarrot. This doesn't change either player or either team.
So why did they do it? Do you think it was to clear up a roster spot, something like that?
Yeah. So they're saving $7.3 million in luxury tax.
Okay. Yeah. I had a feeling it was something like that.
Because aren't they they're like the second or third highest salary?
They are. I think they were definitely number one. They had like the highest luxury tax of all time before they waived Melo and then waived and stretched his contract. So now they're up there. They're up there for sure. I think they might still be the highest.
I'll look at they're number 3.
Yep. Miami, Golden State, Oklahoma City, Toronto, Portland.
Miami has some bad contracts, bro. They have Whiteside's contract is terrible. Dragic contract is pretty bad. I don't even have it in front of me. I just know those off the top of my head.
I bet Hassan Whiteside wishes that he would have signed with the Mavericks a while back.
Yeah, he does. The reason the Thunder is so high is strictly Russ and PG. I mean, this year they're bringing in 66 million combined.
Yeah.
Good Lord. That's crazy.
Worth it though. I mean, look where they're at.
Yeah, very true. The next one we've got is the Blazers. Got Rodney Hood for Wade Baldwin, Nick Stauskas, who is not done being on the move, and 2 future second round picks, excuse me. This is an interesting trade.
Yeah, I like that trade. Nick Stauskas, for people that maybe casual fans are not huge fans or watch every game or know who Nick Stauskas is, kid can shoot. He's from Michigan. He, typical played 4 years kind of guy, but he can play. I'm a huge Rodney Hood guy. I feel like he kind of got a bad image or bad rap on Cleveland last year. They just stopped using him basically. Rodney Hood in Utah was 17, 18 points per game, can create his own shot, can knock down threes. I think that's a big get for Portland, who's still trying to make that push as a top 4 seed maybe in the West. I think that's a huge pickup for them because you still start McCollum, Lillard, and my man. What's the big man's name there? I always want to say Nurkic. And then you can bring Rodney Hood off the bench as maybe your 6th man and still have that scoring and that firepower.
Rodney Hood, I agree 100%. Everybody saw Rodney Hood whenever he was in Cleveland. He got benched, actually. He got to where he wasn't playing any minutes. I don't know what was wrong with him, but he shoots 38% from the three-point line in Toronto total last year. And then this year he's averaging 36% from the three-point line. So that's a good three-point shooter. He's a great player off the bench. He's going to play good defense too. He's long and strong.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a win for Portland, and I got to pull up his contract on Hoops Hype and see what he's getting paid. But I mean, I think the move for Cleveland there is Cleveland's just hitting reset, the ultimate reset.
The ultimate reset. Yes.
Which they don't really have to do much to hit the reset button.
Yeah.
Anyways, right?
Really bad.
I think it's fair to say I was wrong about Colin Sexton. I know it's quick to jump to conclusions, but he has really not impressed me.
Yeah, I was too. So there's whenever you come out of college, there's 2 different ways to play. You can either be really fundamental sound or you can be really athletic and have one athletically in college. I think athletic people have more of or I know athletic people have a harder time converting from college to the NBA because the game is so much faster. So the things that they could do in college aren't there anymore. So like look at Kuzma. Kuzma was very fundamentally sound, hit to the league and was great immediately, right? If you're not just a Ben Simmons freak, you're going to have a little bit of adjustment time watching those gaps that you used to hit, close, watching the players move in front of you that you used to be able to beat. So it's not time to panic on Colin Sexton, but he doesn't look as impressive to me as I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was taken later, and just looking out back on it, it's like, why would you not take a 6'6" guard with a 7-foot wingspan in today's NBA? But, yeah, the Cavs suck, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah, that's the basic thesis of the whole thing.
Dude, this next trade.
This one's one.
Is this your number one, Josh? Is this your winner?
This is by far my winner, yeah.
Me too. Agreed.
This puts the Sixers with the best or the second best roster starting 5 in the league.
Yeah, Justin, so why don't you tell us what the trade is exactly?
So the 76ers received Tobias Harris, Boban Bogdanovic, and Mike Scott. The Clippers got Wilson Chandler, Mike Muscala, Landry Shamet, a 2020 first-round pick, a 2021 first-round pick. That's from Miami. And then 2 future second-round picks from Detroit.
Clippers are stashing assets low-key.
That 2021 pick is going to be the first year that they could do away with the one-and-done rule.
Yep.
So you can have the best players. If you get a lottery pick on that, which is a very, very real possibility that's going to happen because that's when they're going to lose Whiteside.
Miami's struggling.
Yeah, and that's when they're going to lose Whiteside too. He's the only person that keeps that team alive besides maybe Dragic. But if you have that, you're going to have the lottery stacked with the best players from 2 different classes.
Yeah, I didn't realize. So I know we were talking about Josh, and you were talking about how great of a pick that was going to be because that's going to be historically a great draft potentially based on the talent that's prospected. And Miami, we assume, is going to be a lottery pick. I didn't realize it was the one and done rule was gone then. So that's huge.
That's the first year that has the potential to be gone. So
okay, the CBA.
It's going to be gone.
I agree.
I'm not going to stick myself to it.
Tobias Harris, though, I mean, that's just such a win for the Sixers. He is low-key. Like, I knew he was averaging like 20 points maybe, kind of fringe all-star. So he's averaging 21 and 8. But the dude is shooting 50% from the field, 43 from 3, and 88 from a free throw. I mean, that's much better than I thought, much more efficient than I thought. Him being your 4th option, that's a true big 4 to me.
Yeah.
I think they have the most talent on the – I don't know if they're going to win the East because I think chemistry is going to play a part. Like the Bucks have more chemistry, right? It's clear. But their roster is not as talented. Sixers have the best roster in the Eastern Conference, and I may argue the second best roster in the NBA. Second best starting 5 for sure. You still got Redick off the bench. Boban is just a 7'4" monster. So you could, if this team tries to go big on you, throw Boban and Embiid out there. I mean, that's some size.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's enormous.
Yeah. That dude is 10 to 20 free throw makes away from a 50, 40, 90 season.
Yeah.
That's at 20 points per game. Like that's historically great. So he's extremely efficient. It's going to open up the floor so much for Ben Simmons too.
Absolutely. It's
so much for Ben.
Look at their roster though. What do you think their starting lineup is going to look like?
So I actually have it as Simmons, Redick, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid.
So you bring Redick because Redick's been their 6th man. So you bring him into the starting lineup.
I do. I'm trying to open it up as much as possible for Ben Simmons, dude. I'm going to let.
But you have 4 elite scorers. I mean, they do different things. They do different things. Like Redick's a catch and shoot guy. Tobias Harris is a slasher, but clearly a capable 3-point shooter at 43%. Jimmy Butler's a little more ball dominant, but him and Ben Simmons have shown that they can work it together. And then Embiid is just, I mean, every time he gets in the post, I'm just like, this is fucking barbecue chicken on whoever he is guarding him.
Yeah, exactly. There's no one in the league that can guard that guy. And because if you get him in the post, or if you're strong enough to stop him in the post, you can't guard him on the perimeter. He's going to pick and pop all day and hit those threes on you. But that team, for them to be great, Jimmy Butler's going to have to take less of a role. And he's going to have to back him up on defense because Tobias Harris is small for his position. He's not a great defender. You're going to have Jimmy Butler be a shutdown guy. And Ben Simmons is going to have to do the same thing too, which they can both do. but they're going to have to take less of an offensive load.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's going to have to just maybe transition to a shooter a little bit more.
My biggest concern, and we've already kind of hit on it though, is just the chemistry part of it. I wonder how all those lineups work on paper, but we've seen that before. And I mean, it should work right, but Jimmy Butler's a cancer. And I get a weird feeling about that team. I don't know what it is, other than the fact that I know the Bucks are better than they are.
I don't know if I agree with that, but it's going to take. So what it's going to take is how Josh has talked about maybe 1 or 2 episodes ago, but he's talked about it a couple of times, and it's something I feel strongly about is LeBron's ability to galvanize teammates. Well, somebody on that Sixers team is going to have to step up and become that person. And I think Ben Simmons is a little too introverted, and I think Jimmy Butler's a little too much of an asshole. I think Redick has a great personality. I listen to his podcast, but I don't think he's a good enough player. And Tobias Harris can't really do it since he just got there, so it has to be Joel Embiid in my mind.
Yeah, Redick has to be the veteran leader there, and Joel Embiid has to be the person on the floor.
Right. And he has the personality to do it, where Ben Simmons does it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I was just browsing at the home and away splits for the Bucks. They're 23-4 at home.
Yeah, they're tough at home.
That's rough.
Yeah. But how many playoff series has Giannis won?
No, we'll see though. I mean, this is a different year for him.
This year is going to be different. They will win 1 playoff series this year.
Absolutely. They took the Celtics to 7 games last year though.
Because if they finish in the first seed and it sits how it is now, and they lose to the goddamn Heat in the first round, I'm off the Giannis train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So who's your favorite coming out of the East now?
Me?
Yeah.
Sixers.
It
was before. It was the Sixers. It was the Celtics before. I'm going Sixers now, and I think I'm doing that just because I hate all the other teams.
Yeah. I feel like the Celtics just haven't gotten it going. And man, if they could have found someone that would have taken that Hayward contract, that would have been nice.
Yeah, he's a shadow of himself, but it could be a Paul George situation where it just takes like 3 years instead of a year.
That's
but
true.
I will still say I like the Celtics a lot. We keep saying they're going to get it together. They got to get it together. They're going to get it going. Brad Stevens knows what they're doing. I mean, we're 55 games in? Like it's a little late.
Yeah, they're a mess.
We say that and they're 35-19.
Yeah, I mean, they're 4th place. They're 5.5 games out of first.
They're third place now.
Oh, really?
Yep,
oh, it must have just updated in the
they got a tiebreaker over the Pacers, yeah.
Pretty good.
They're a mess because they're underachieving heavily. They should be, with the talent that they have on that team, they should be far and away. Maybe not now. They should be far and away the best team in the East.
Well, I don't know. Like, so if you give me their top 4 versus Sixers top 4, I don't think it's that close.
I just said maybe not now. Right. But I meant before.
Yeah. I mean, Milwaukee just plays as a team. Oh shit, you're right, Justin. That Gordon Hayward contract would have been nice to let go.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the worst contract in the NBA. He's the 6th highest paid player, $31 million, $32 next year, and $34 the following year. Good.
Yeah, and that's whenever you said that it may be like Paul George, where it takes him 3 years. I'm like, great, just until the end of that contract. Awesome.
Yeah. Then
there's some terrible contracts in the NBA.
Yeah, there really are, man.
Paul Millsap and Al Horford make more than Damian Lillard.
That's ridiculous.
Paul Millsap should not make $30 million.
Let's move on a little bit
to
the other trades that have happened. I'm going to skip forward a little bit on a few of these because they're kind of cash.
Yeah. Reggie Bullock to the Lakers. You can miss me with that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Do you?
Yeah, I like it for the Lakers.
Josh likes all players that I fucking can't stand.
Well, that's the only thing that the Lakers managed to be able to do, other than like I think one other deal. But
Lakers were big losers here.
Talk about that in a second. So we've got the Pelicans got Markieff Morris. I think they cut him immediately. The Wizards got Wesley Johnson. Markieff's been hurt, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the Wizards they're trying to blow that up, but they did the crappiest job I've ever seen any team.
Well, their main goal was to get under the luxury tax, which they managed to do.
Exactly.
So they were good.
What are they trying to do? They just don't want to pay anything. Like what?
They don't want to pay the.
Who cares?
They don't want to pay a tax for losing and having nobody come to their games.
God, man. That's you have to trade. If you're the Wizards, you have to get rid of Bradley Beal. Offer him for AD.
I don't think that would get that deal done.
That would not get that deal done.
I mean, offer him and a bunch of other players.
Hey, real quick, 30 seconds. Can we talk about John Wall's injury?
Yeah, hilarious.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
like
so
that dude made $47 million. Is going to make $47 million on his last year, and he just he ruptured his Achilles.
Well, so I read into this today. So he originally, what was his original injury?
It was a ruptured Achilles, I thought, at his home.
Well, so that was the second part of it. So he had like some foot injury that he had surgery on. It had an infection. They went back in there and he had slipped at home and like ruptured part of his Achilles, which I didn't even know was possible, to be honest with you.
His house is just an ice rink. He's a big fan of hockey. He just has ice everywhere.
Gotta be it.
Yeah, dude, that's horrible. He tore his Achilles falling in his house. I'm pretty sure that he's faking it and he's just done with the Wizards.
Hey man, he's making $47 million to do nothing. I mean,
I'm going to collect my $50 million and I'm going to sit at home with a boot on my foot.
It's crazy that if that happens to a football player, they don't make a fucking dime. Well, quarterback maybe because you have guaranteed money, but a lot of those guys don't have guaranteed anything.
Dude, they got to get Chris Paul in there to do their CBA, man. They need somebody like that.
No kidding. Well, that's a good segue because we'll talk about this Bulls-Wizards trade. Bulls got Otto Porter Jr., which is a great trade, I think, for Jabari Parker and Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis was, clogging things up in that Chicago lineup. The problem with Chicago is they don't need to be good.
Right, exactly. Bobby Portis is not a bad player, but they don't. I think they win on that trade because Jabari Parker is. I'm done with him. Otto Porter's making 27.5, a little rich, but gives them another piece of a strong young core that I referenced earlier.
What the hell are the Wizards doing?
Yeah, you had a real.
Those are horrible. Yeah. Otto Porter's a little bit rich, but he's the best role player in the league. That's you can get more than Bobby Portis and Jabari Parker, both of which just are horrible. Like, shouldn't even see the floor. Bobby Portis maybe, but Jabari Parker's playing bad.
Yeah.
Those two are expiring contracts, I think, is the only reason they did it.
Correct.
The Wizards have real assets that they can deal for something or future picks, and they're not doing it. They're dealing it for nothing to get underneath the luxury tax. Markieff Morris is a hell of a player. What are they doing?
Hey, Scott Brooks.
Horrible. Scott Brooks must be GM over there or something.
Scott Brooks knows what's going on.
God dang it.
He's making
bad.
I'm so mad, dude.
Bad week for the Wizards, and your super max guy tears his fucking Achilles.
Dude,
so right now, as things go, they definitely did the worst at the trade deadline so far, right?
If I could give lower than an F, I would give it to the Wizards. If there's a letter like I don't want you to fail and stay in your grade. I want you to move back. You got to go back to kindergarten and learn how to color again. Yeah, so those two trades are just horrendous.
So are they your biggest loser, Josh? Yes or no?
God dang it! Yes, yeah, by far.
They're my third biggest loser. And the reason being, I agree that they are terrible trades. The biggest loser is the Los Angeles Lakers because you're the Los Angeles Lakers and the expectation and the attraction, the LeBron factor, all the money you have, all these assets you have, and they didn't get shit done.
Yeah.
They're the biggest loser to me. And then the Pelicans are second because you have this incredible asset that you were just being fucking really greedy with, quite frankly. Because didn't we see a Lakers offer that was like, Ball, Ingram, Kuzma, KCP, Hart, and 2 firsts, and they were like, "Nah, we're good."
I agree 100% that the Pelicans are being idiots, and they're going to lose because of it.
I strongly disagree. Actually,
they need to sit him. Do you agree they need to sit him? Because if you let him play and you let your only trade asset get hurt, you're losing that franchise for sure.
More than likely, they're going to get the GM Dell something like that. He's going to get fired no matter what happens here. So
I would walk in and fire him right now for turning down that Lakers deal.
Well, but it's just like he just doesn't want to be the one that trades away Anthony Davis. And to be honest, I can't blame him. But the thing is, they're doing the best thing for the franchise at this point. They did 2 things here. Number one, they screwed over the Lakers, which I love. Number 2, though, They're holding out till this summer. Dude, Boston is going to give up, I've heard, Tatum.
He doesn't want to go to Boston, bro. He's not going.
Dude, they're going to pay for it, though?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess he doesn't.
He doesn't have a choice.
Get traded and then not, because he's got 1 year left.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a choice.
So he'll play 1 year in Boston and then you all lose him and you will have traded away superstar talent. The difference between Tatum, real quick, Josh, the difference between Tatum and any of those guys we mentioned on the Lakers, who are all pretty good players, is Tatum has more superstar potential.
But I also think that the Pelicans here need to look at what's going to happen this summer, and those aren't going to be the only two teams that will pay the farm for him. And I think that they need to see that through. I don't think that's
okay. I don't. Okay, I'm with that because they can maybe get a better deal than what the Lakers offered. Maybe not depth wise, but top end players. But I just don't think it's going to be a deal with the Celtics.
Here's my prediction: Anthony Davis his destinations were leaked.
4 spots.
Leaked. I want 4 spots. Like, oh, we found it was left on the sidewalk outside the building. Like, that's not leaked. That was his agent putting it out there and saying, we don't want to be traded to any other place besides this. And now teams will not trade their future for him. It's going to continue to happen. Anthony Davis is going to continue to get fined $50,000. Who cares for tampering, because he's going to continue to say, I don't want to play for Boston. I don't want to play for Boston. And then Boston's going to realize finally that he doesn't want to play for them, and they're not going to trade for him. And he'll end up going for the Lakers for less money than what Pelicans would have gotten.
I don't understand why everybody thinks that he's going to the Lakers.
I was about to say, I don't think he's going to the Lakers now because of what transpired. I think there's 2 places, New York or wherever the fuck Giannis goes, because apparently they're just like homies.
New York's going to have to sign him, though. They don't have any assets to trade.
Right, but
they
have
2 years.
They have 70-something million.
Yeah, they have 2 max cap spaces.
Sure, but that's not going to be this summer. That's going to be next summer. So they're going to forego not getting like a Kyrie or a KD or a Kemba in order to pay Anthony Davis the year after that?
Okay, what if they sign Kemba and KD, right? And then they trade, and then they get the first pick, and they draft Zion. And they trade Kemba, Zion, and a future first, and now you have KD and AD.
Dude, if I was a player, I would not sign with any team right now without a no-trade clause. If I was a superstar, I would say, you're putting that no-trade clause on here if me and KD are going to go and play together. Yeah. So I think that's –
But remember, too, that KD's going to go sign a 1-year deal like he has been. LeBron started that whole thing, and that's really a brilliant idea, and that's what's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
That's where this whole thing is going.
So where do you see him landed, Justin? Where do you see AD landed?
I honestly feel like the Knicks are really possible.
Yeah.
I really do. It's a gut feeling more than anything, but I feel like the more and more Kevin Durant seems to hate on the media and all that kind of stuff, which is really kind of a shame because he used to be awesome on social media. I used to love him.
He went from like fan favorite to biggest fucking dickhead.
Yeah,
he did.
And as someone who enjoys getting into it with basketball players on Twitter, I feel like it's really, really lame at the end of the day, right? And the only reason I'll poke at people is because it gets a rise out of them, and it's sad that it gets a rise out of them.
Like, I never understood how I could, as like just a middle class American, be happier than an NBA player, but I think I'm genuinely happier than Kevin Durant is.
To be fair, though, have you ever seen his feet? They look like corn dogs in socks, dude. They're like 30 feet long. They're so skinny.
Oh man, that's
I don't know why I've done this. It's not a LeBron obsession, but if you Google LeBron James feet, dude, that dude goes so hard. His toenails are just like black and crusted. It's pretty terrible. But anyways,
was that a lonely night for you? Were you like, man, I'm in Austin now. I miss Jess so much. LeBron James feet.
Next best thing.
Yeah.
Dude, so let's talk about the HB trade. Harrison Barnes getting traded in the middle of the fucking game, which is awkward and apparently pissed Rick Carlisle off for Justin Jackson and Zebo, which Zebo's expiring, right? It's a money thing because Harrison, we've been talking about, hey, he expires this year. Well, so I looked on Hoopsite. He actually has a player option, which my boy pointed out, for $25 million, which
He would obviously opt into.
Sure.
Yep.
So you get rid of that risk. You get Justin Jackson, who he's a decent player. Like he's got a little bit of a ceiling. He can shoot. He can play defense. Zebo expires. So I don't have the number in front of me, but I want to say the Mavs are going to have 20 to 25 to play with now.
They have 32.
32. Okay. So 25 plus the 7 they had. Okay.
Right.
So
that's a Kemba Walker. That's a Klay Thompson.
Kemba Walker does not make sense. I don't want Kemba Walker. I will overpay for him because I think this guy's worth. Tell me who you think this is, Josh. He made an all-star team this year, and he's worth 18 to 20 million in my mind, but someone will probably fucking max him or give him 30.
Give me a position.
Wing. Chris Middleton.
I
think he's a $20 million player.
Yeah. He's not a max player. I agree.
But do you think someone will max him?
Yeah, I mean, if you're an all-star, you're going to get a max offer for somebody. Charlotte will come out and be like, "We'll pay you."
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at John Wall.
Miami can't wait to give him a bad deal.
Yeah, exactly. So that does, Chris Middleton would be fantastic. I love that type of player. I love the guy that doesn't need the ball in his hands. I love the guy that locks down defense,
hits open shots.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, I was looking at his statistics today. Actually, keep going. I'm going to pull up some Chris.
I was going to say, not that it matters, but that's not a fourth white guy in the starting lineup.
That's true.
We might be throwing Maxi Kleber out there.
He plays like a white guy, though.
The thing that I love about this trade is essentially when you start looking at all the roster moves that the Mavericks made, they got rid of this Harrison Barnes thing, which he was obviously going to opt in, so that clears up more space. They got rid of Dennis Smith Jr., number 9 pick, and brought in Justin Jackson, who was the number 15 pick. So you really only downgrade a little bit. You open that up for Luka a little bit more. You open the lane up for Jalen Brunson because I feel like he could be a big part of coming off the bench for the Mavericks.
We've talked about that. Huge steal. I love Brunson.
Love that guy. He was great at Nova. I really think he could do great things for the Mavericks, but he was never really going to progress with DSJ kind of blocking his way. So that kind of gives him an opportunity. And you also have Tim Hardaway Jr., which I don't hate. That dude's averaging 20 points a game.
He can score.
And we've been talking about it all year. I realized that throughout this trade deadline, Dallas just got their hearts ripped out because I think they got 4 of their 5 starting lineup, everybody but Luka.
4 of their 6 best players are gone.
But we've been talking about how they need a shooter and how they need somebody that can actually score. And while they got rid of some stuff, this is kind of a transition point at this time for the Mavericks, but I still feel like they're gonna take bigger steps ahead quicker because of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they'll be positioned to compete in 2 to 3 years. And I'm really interested to see what they do with the $32 million. I'd love to see them get a Chris Middleton or a Klay. I'm not crazy optimistic that'll happen because of the past. We haven't been a free agent destination, but the package we have to offer is way more enticing and way different than anything we've ever had before. I would actually love to see us get Boogie. I know that sounds crazy.
I would be good with that.
Dude, but if you have Boogie, Kristaps, and Luka in your lineup, you got some crazy versatility and really unique players for their skill set and their size.
Do you? How would you feel about them going after Vucevic though?
I'm not as big on Vucevic because I think the 21 and 11 or 22 and 11 is a little inflated. He's 28 or 29. I guess Boogie's 27 probably, but I think Vucevic is going to get overpaid. If we're going to overpay for somebody, I'd much rather, if we're going to max somebody, I'd rather be Klay or Chris Middleton and I think they just fit what we're trying to do a little bit better.
Yeah, those two are better than Vucevic. Vucevic is scoring 22 and 12 because there's nobody else on his team.
Correct.
Really high usage rate. Chris Middleton, whenever he's guarding Otto Porter is 21 points per possession, or 21 points per 100 possessions worse. Kevin Durant is 20 points per 100 possessions worse than normal. Like that dude's Tobias Harris is so let's say I don't know what Kevin Durant's actual is. Let's see if I can find it.
No, I know what it means. I'm trying to get you to summarize. Chris Middleton is an above average defender at worst.
No, he's a fantastic defender.
Right.
Like if you give Chris Middleton and Kevin Durant 100 possessions, he's going to score 50 points. If Chris Middleton's guarding him, you give him 100 possessions, he's going to score 30 points. Like that's crazy. Yeah, that's a big deal. He's a fantastic defender. He's not as knocked down as Klay, but Klay's a fantastic defender too. They're the same player, but Klay's a better scorer.
Clay's a better shooter. I actually think Middleton has better handles. Clay has some of the worst handles for an NBA All-Star guard I've ever seen.
He does, but he knows how to
absurdly an absurd amount.
He knows how to use his like big 6'7" frame body and like keep it between him and the defender and shoot those turnaround jumpers and floaters. Like that's what he's good at.
No one ever thought you could average 22 and not dribble.
Yeah.
So realistically, do you guys think that Clay would consider signing in Dallas?
No.
I
think it's Golden State or LA for him.
But what? I mean, I think Dallas is a more desirable destination than LA at this point.
100%. 100%. So obviously we see why it's staying Golden State, right? Splash Brothers champion, stay there your whole career. It's still in Cali. He's from California. He's an LA guy. He lives in LA in the offseason.
True.
Dallas isn't sexy. Like we have oil and like cows.
Yeah, and now that Kyle's gone.
LA.
Yeah, I mean, what are you guys going to do?
Now that Kyle's gone, not to lay on his couch in Dallas,
Dallas is sexier than 20 other places. Yeah, okay, it's not LA, Miami, New York, but it's not fucking Milwaukee or Memphis. Like, it's still a metropolitan area with 5 professional sports teams.
So I agree with that, but also the other draw out of it is Luka. We've got Luka and
That's what I'm saying. I was about to say, let's get to the actual product.
Yeah.
Dallas is sexier than LA.
At this point, yes. And no LeVar.
I don't think that Clay I don't think Clay doesn't seem like a guy to me that's going for legacy. Clay seems like a dude that wants to get his or not. No, that's not right. I'm sorry. Clay seems like a dude that wants it to be relatively easy.
He wants to have a peaceful, easy situation in hoop.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to have 25 mil and blow at least like 20 of that on weed every year, and then take the rest of his 5 mil and retire early. Like he's too chill for me to believe that he's going to look at teams and go, I have a better chance at winning in Dallas. I'm going to go there.
Agreed.
So that's why I have concerns about Clay coming here. I would love it, dude. I would do nothing but wear a Klay Thompson jersey every single day. I think that dude might be my favorite player in the league if he didn't play for Golden State. But
yeah. I see the vision there. I think that makes sense. It's just, I don't know. I think these guys are going to look at it from a basketball standpoint mostly. It feels like that's what's happened over the last however long. And it just feels to me like they're going to look at it realistically, and it's not a bad destination. It's really not.
What I see happening is this smoking on a max. We're going to miss that. And then we're going to get 2 pretty good players because with $32 million, you can get 2 $16 million players or a $20 and a $12 million player and still improve your team a lot.
Strong agree. It's going to be interesting as we keep going to see kind of how that comes into play, or how everything starts to kind of clear and what the market kind of looks like as we get towards the end of the season and what guys are thinking and all that. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens for Dallas because I've tried to start putting some things together in my head, but I really don't know what they're going to need, what they're going to look like.
I played out like 5 scenarios in my head today at work.
Yeah, and man, the Boogie one is one of the ones that excites me the most, to be honest with you.
Me too. Absolutely. Because if you can throw such a, just like I said, unique team. Like we haven't really ever seen a 6'11" guy that can shoot that's like 280, right? And can post up and block shots with a 7'3" guy that can block shots and hit threes and handle the ball like a fucking wing, and then a 6'8", potential Hall of Famer. That the passes Luka makes are just it's LeBron-esque.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. We kind of saw it last year with the Pelicans, but you didn't have Luka there, So like with AD and DeMarcus, whenever they were healthy, and that's the thing that concerns me is like. DeMarcus is really going to have to show me that he can be a part of the team this year for the rest of the year and in the playoffs.
He's shown it thus far.
Yeah, he has. He's going to have to continue to do it.
Yep, no doubt about it. Well, I feel like we have to talk about the biggest train wreck that happened. We've already touched on it a little bit with the Anthony Davis thing, but I think we need to talk about the Lakers side of everything.
Dude, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to fucking say. Like, how? So what was their big splash? Muscala?
Yeah. Mike Muscala. I think I tweeted out something like, when you can't trade for Anthony Davis, the next best thing is Mike Muscala.
I saw that.
Clearly the second best option.
We don't want you, Anthony. Yeah, dude, that was. I don't. So I never feel like the Lakers are one off season away from not winning a championship. Man, that was a horrible way to say.
Yeah,
I always feel like the Lakers are one off season away from winning a championship. Always, because
that's not true anymore, though.
I know, dude. Over the past few off seasons, like
I still feel that way, though. I agree.
mean, they are one player. Like, I really, truly, truly believe that Anthony Davis is going to continue to tamper, and that he's going to end up going to LA because nobody else would trade for him, and that the Pelicans will get less for him than they would have gotten had they taken it at the deadline. They were offering him freaking 2 draft picks and 5 other first rounders that had already been drafted.
I absolutely love that they nuked all their team chemistry over this whole thing, though. That is just such an unbelievably great post-Kobe era Lakers move.
Yeah. But this team was going to turn over anyways. But yeah, it's going to be a shit show. So you're going to love the rest of the season for the Lakers. They could fuck around and just play their way out of the playoffs.
They don't have any draft picks either, right?
It is. I have to look at that.
I'm sure that they. Yeah, I don't know.
I think they've stashed some, but they may not be their picks. But what I'm interested in now, and what I've kind of been speculating on, because I mean, I still care about the Lakers because of LeBron at this point. But I don't know what free agents are going to come there, right? Because KD's not going there.
Nope.
Kawhi wants his own thing.
Yep.
AD, I know Josh is pretty bullish on that. I'm not sold that he's going there. And, you know, I mean, yeah, then you start getting to the more middle tiers, Middleton, Klay Thompson, Tobias Harris. I don't know if any of those guys go there. So it's going to be really interesting and I hope this isn't the case, but the LeBron situation in LA doesn't play out where everyone's like, oh, people are going to be just foaming at the mouth to go to LA and play with LeBron. Maybe that's not the situation.
That's not the situation anymore. And that's what LeBron's starting to see. I mean, this has happened twice to him in the last 6 months. Kawhi and the Spurs said, we're absolutely not trading you to the Lakers. And that's what happened. And now this. And it's the same exact thing. It's crazy to me that that's how this is starting to play out for the Lakers. But like the Lakers have done what the Mavericks tried to do with Dirk on a much bigger scale. So like the Mavericks free agency pitch used to be, we've got Dirk and that's awesome. That's not how you win in this league anymore. And so now the Lakers are trying to say, well, we've got LeBron and we've got Magic in the front office and we've got this and we've got that.
What else?
It's a shit show. All of
Nothing
that is
else.
A shit show. And the thing that kills me the most about the Lakers in the last couple of years is that they've had great players. D'Angelo Russell. They've had guys like Brandon Ingram, Kuzma, people that they've absolutely shit on for no reason, who are good players that are going to be successful in this league. That's insane to me.
I mean, everybody does that. Like everybody's pissed. All the players in the league are pissed off at Boston because of the stuff that's happening the stuff that happened with Isaiah. They don't know if they're going to be able to sign Kyrie next year. So it's like, and there has to be some sort of like come to an agreement between teams and players and have some trust there. I don't think there's very much trust between teams and players right now, sans Golden State.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I actually think the most likely free agent to come to LA or to go to LA is Kyrie.
I see the vision on that.
That'd be hilarious. Kyrie comes back crying.
Him and LeBron are in cahoots. This has just been planned the entire time.
I'm going to say something that could possibly make Justin very upset.
Go for it.
I'm prepping. Basketball deserves a LeBron James statue outside of the Lakers stadium. Basketball deserves that.
Why would that upset him?
Why would that upset him?
Because he's a Boston fan, because you hate Lakers.
Oh, I don't really care about that. It's not like LeBron played for the Celtics or anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
If they put a Larry Bird statue up, then we'd have a problem.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see him win a championship, and I want to see it happen however it happens there, because I do think that the most storied, like top 2 most storied players in the history of the league and top 2 most storied franchises in the history of the league need to win together.
Yeah, I mean, I see the vision on that, but I just feel like the Lakers are just not the destination they think they are. And everybody's like, oh, LA. But like this league has grown substantially. And all these small market teams, quote unquote, I mean, Dallas is probably on the big market teams on the smallest end of that.
Yeah, you call it a medium market or a small big market.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's definitely on the fringe of that. But those types of teams, I mean, Milwaukee's one of those teams. And that's a desirable.
Milwaukee is a small market team.
Right, but still a desirable a destination, though.
I don't think it is. I think they got lucky and they drafted Giannis, who is just amazing. Like that's the prototype, like who you want to draft in character, in game, and everything.
Right.
I think they got lucky.
He's gonna leave though because no one wants to live in fucking Wisconsin.
He's not gonna leave. I don't think he is. I think he's
Giannis is dipping. There's no way he stays there.
He goes to LA, wins with LeBron.
Nah.
Let's hope Magic isn't selling that. But my thing about that is, I just think that if you're like say you're trying to think of what they would like need. Just say you're like a Klay Thompson this summer. Forget about position and all that for just a second. Isn't that a desirable place to go to be able to win though?
To the Bucks?
Yeah, to the Bucks if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
They play his style of game.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, again, I'm not trying to dive into the specifics of that about whether that would work or not. But my point is, they're a desirable destination, even though they're a small market team. And that's what teams like the Celtics and the Lakers and all these teams are starting to underestimate, is that these places can still be desirable destinations.
What really sucks is I think the most desirable destination for anyone is, where can I get these people that I'm supposed to be freaking competing against to go to with me? I think that's become the most desirable destination, and it sucks.
Yeah, and I think Giannis is the type of guy that's a little more old school, as you referenced, Josh, where he may not join forces. I just think he's going to leave the Bucks, and I don't know why. I just get that feeling that he's going to. But I agree with what you're saying, Justin. It's not where LA and New York just dominate now, right? Like guys are going for basketball situations, for comfortable situations, play with guys they like, guys they know. I agree with that. I don't think LA is the destination they think they are, but we'll see. I don't see Klay Thompson leaving California and going to Milwaukee, though. I really don't. Is marijuana even legal in Wisconsin? He's definitely not going.
Yeah.
I can promise you,
chance.
You don't want to be the cop that throws Klay Thompson in jail over marijuana, though. So I think it's probably legal for Klay. And
dude, that dude's getting profiled in small town Wisconsin. Biggest win, actually a huge win that we didn't talk about, is Marc Gasol. Dude, I think that might put the Raptors, now that I look at because they didn't have to get rid of Siakam or I'm just gonna say Obi, because I say that every time I say that guy's name, I sound like I'm having a fucking stroke.
Oubre, you mean?
No, Obi.
Anunoby.
Anunoby. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Kelly Oubre for a second. I was like, wait a minute, what did I miss here?
You were tweeting from the On the Break profile today and talking about that. And I tried to come back and reply with my personal profile and say, there's no way that they didn't lose Siakam on that. And I accidentally did it with the On the Break. So my bad. But I was super surprised when they didn't lose Siakam on that. Like, they took Valanciunas and who was the other person that they took? DeLon Wright. And then there was one more, maybe a first rounder or something.
Yeah, it was a pick. I can live with that. So,
yeah.
I mean, Marc Gasol is so great he's a great passer. He's a good shooter for a center. And he's so good at positional defense without being athletic. Just putting himself in the right spot, putting his arms up. He's long. He makes shots harder. I think that combination with – so what's their starting roster starting lineup going to look like? You got Lowry, Kawhi. Who else is on the
who plays at the 3? Actually, OG.
OG.
And then – Serge or Siakam, whichever one, and then Valanciunas, and the other one comes off the bench as a 6th man.
Well, Valanciunas is gone, so you go Serge and then Gasol.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Gasol is just Valanciunas, but like leveled up is what it is. You know he's going to fit.
And you bring Siakam off the bench, or maybe bring Serge off the bench for scoring, however you want to do it.
Yeah, they're interchangeable.
Yeah, I like the Marc Gasol trade though, and they got I was looking at his numbers today. They're better than I thought they would be. This is, I think, his 11th season in the NBA. I thought he's a little bit older.
Maybe more than that.
I thought it was his.
He might have played some professional ball in Spain, though. That
he did. Oh, right. He did, and also he's been injured for a little bit, so he seems a little bit older just because of that.
Okay, got it. Let's see. So I'm looking at his stats real quick. So this year he's averaging. Let's see. Wow, he's averaging 44% from field goal range. That's pretty crazy for a guy his size.
From 3-point or field goal?
Field goal. Let's see. So he's
lower than I would expect, actually.
Yeah, I would think around 50, but he also shoots a lot more jumpers than a normal big.
Yeah, he shoots
15-footers.
Yeah, non Daryl Morey type shots, not analytical shots, but I think it's going to be huge for their team. Looking at these rosters, take the Pacers out because of the Oladipo injury, especially.
Yeah.
Although they're still playing decent. They've won 3 in a row. You look at Sixers, Celtics, Raptors, Bucks. Clearly, one of those 4 teams is going to win the Eastern Conference. Although I may feel a little more strongly about one over the other, I think you can make an argument that any of those 4 teams could win.
Yeah,
a lot of talent on those teams.
I still really like the Bucks, but I thought that they did a 3-team trade that was like in pieces. So first they sent Thon Maker for Stanley Johnson. And then, whenever that first happened, I said, oh my gosh, they just got the Kawhi killer. Like Stanley Johnson, just looking at the same stats that we looked at previously for who's the player that looked at? Chris Middleton?
Yeah, this is incredible.
Yeah, this is crazy. Holding Jason Tatum to 20 points per 100 less. Kevin Durant to 10.6 per 100 less. Ben Simmons at 10.5 per 100 less. And he just shuts down Kawhi. He doesn't have enough possessions against Kawhi to really for me to show it up here. But he won a game by himself because he had 5 possessions in a row on Kawhi where the Kawhi just got turnovers. And then he hit 3. So he's very much the person that could have taken the load off of Giannis, off of Chris Middleton, and freed them up a little bit more on offense in order to stop that big 3-and-D guy, big offensive player on the other team. And then they traded him for another 3-point shooter. They don't have enough of those already. So I didn't quite understand.
I don't really get that either.
But I was really excited, and I thought they got a lot better whenever they got Stanley. But they got Mirotic, who is a better 3-point shooter than Maker was.
He's a great 3-point shooter.
He's a fantastic 3-point shooter, but I just didn't feel like they needed any more firepower. What's one more cannon when you have a whole arsenal of them, Let
me ask you this, because I think the Bucks are extremely impressive, and they're growing on me more as the season goes, right?
Yeah.
I think you could argue they have the least talent of those 4 teams, just maybe the best chemistry, best
for
system.
Sure. Yeah, you could.
But the Sixers definitely have more talent. The Celtics have more talent, and
they have the best player, but not the
Raptors probably have the best talent. Yeah. So I was actually saying that to my boy the other day. I think there's 4 just elite difference makers in the East, and each one of those teams has one of those players. The top 4 players in the East, and then it's a hard drop off for me in order, is Kawhi, Giannis, Embiid, Kyrie. And then it's a hard drop off. And
a real hard drop off.
Has that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you're looking at Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, or
Kemba. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Drops.
But he's not on a good team. Yeah, and I've probably got Giannis, Kawhi.
Make an argument to me that Giannis is better than Kawhi.
He does more for
other than statistics, other than facts.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I would argue
what I'm trying to get at, though, right?
No, I understand. So you look at Kawhi and you go, that guy can shoot. That guy can do everything from everywhere. Kawhi can score at 3 different levels. So inside, mid-range, and
apparently you think Kawhi Leonard, based on our text today, is as strong as fucking Von Miller or some shit.
Dude, that guy is strong, man. I
don't think he's that strong. I think he's an above average strength for the NBA, but he's not elite NBA strength. Kawhi?
I would say for his position. I mean, he's not as strong as Boogie. You got to define elite for me. For a small forward,
for a wing.
Yeah, I would say he's elite. But anywho, he can score at 3 different levels, close, mid range, and 3-point line. Giannis can only really score at 1 level, but he does that so
really,
well,
really
dude.
Well.
Yeah, and you can't stop him from getting to that 1 level. So I don't know.
Pretty good passer too. Giannis is a pretty good passer.
Kawhi is too, though. Or at least he's never in a position where he has to pass or where they don't run the offense through him like Giannis does or like they do Giannis. But he has good court vision.
Biggest difference to me, because I think their offense washes out in a weird way, even though they do things differently. Biggest difference for me is if you're in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference playoffs, I can go to Kawhi Leonard and say, I need you to shut down the best player on the other team. And you can't do that with Giannis because unless the best player is a big man.
I really think you can with Giannis.
So you think you put Giannis on Kyrie?
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah,
no way, dude. Kyrie is so much faster and has such good handles.
I mean,
Kyrie's eating that.
He would do the same thing to Kawhi.
I hope that shit happens.
No, he would do the same thing.
Kyrie would not do the same thing to Kawhi. You were just telling me you're like Kawhi's the biggest, the most, or the best combination of speed and then strength in the NBA. And now Kyrie can just blow by him.
Did I say that?
You did say that.
Because it's different. Kyrie's not strong. He's fast. So like it's different. Like he can.
I'm losing my shit.
Giannis is not as. Actually, he might be as fast as. There's no
Giannis
way.
is as fast as Kyrie.
As Kawhi.
Okay.
As Kawhi. No, nobody's as fast as Kyrie Irving. Dude, Giannis.
Bucks are getting bounced in the first round.
The stats are coming, baby.
I'm done with this.
Where's my
Giannis is on my Karl Anthony Towns list for this podcast now.
We need you know how in those movies they always have the nerd in the van just looking at stats all the time. We need one of those. That's not me. Like I'm not in the van. I can't.
Don't we already have one of those?
We have one of those. It's me. But dude, like Giannis is an elite defender, 100% elite defender, and he's so long, and he can recover faster than Kawhi because he's even longer than Kawhi. Kawhi's elite length, but Giannis is the only person in the league, not the only one, but one of the only people in the league that's. God dang it! I hate you so much.
In 3 seasons.
This again. Man. This again. All right, boys.
Not yet as good as Jordan.
All right, boys. We got to wrap this up. It has been awesome talking trade deadline stuff with you guys. One more quick thing. Who won the trade deadline? Each of you go.
76ers.
Yeah, 76ers. Sorry. 76ers.
I'm going to go with the longer term pick and pick the Mavericks here.
Giannis won the trade deadline.
I hope you're right. God damn it.
Best of all of them.
A lot of people hope I'm right. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. Special shout out to Chris and Rush for participating in our chat during the live broadcast here today. And make sure everybody to follow us on Twitter at On The Break Pod, on Facebook as well, Sensibly Loud Media. Check out the website, sensiblyloud.com. And we will be back next week.
Later.